Night draped the quiet valley in a shroud of silver mist, its silence disturbed only by the distant call of unseen creatures. At the heart of this forgotten land stood an ancient dwelling, its stone walls bearing the weight of untold years. The house was no longer filled with laughter, only the hushed echoes of the past. Within its walls lived Veyron, a man whose spirit had long since dimmed, a wanderer trapped in the solitude of his own making. Everything changed the night he found her, a beast unlike any he had encountered. With fur as dark as midnight and eyes flickering like dying embers, she carried the marks of survival, a creature forged in hardship. When he first saw her, she lingered at the forest's edge, hesitant but unyielding, her presence stirring something long dormant within him. The encounter came on an autumn eve, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and burning wood. Drawn by a faint, desperate whimper, Veyron veered off the beaten path, his heart tightening as he discovered the frail figure curled among the underbrush. The beast was weary, her body weakened by hunger and fear, yet she did not flee. Their gazes locked, and in that silent exchange an unspoken bond formed. "You're safe now," Veyron murmured, his voice low and steady as he extended a cautious hand. The beast hesitated, the tension in her limbs betraying her wariness. Yet, as though sensing the truth in his words, she crept forward, her cold nose brushing against his fingertip. In that moment, fate intertwined their paths. He brought her home without question, naming her Nyx, for she was a shadow reborn into light. That night, she rested in the corner of his modest dwelling, her breathing slow and steady. Veyron watched over her, an unfamiliar warmth settling in his chest, a feeling he had almost forgotten. Days passed, and Nyx began to heal. The sharpness of her ribs softened beneath careful meals, her steps grew surer, and her eyes, once dulled by mistrust, gleamed with curiosity. She explored the garden with measured steps, her tail no longer tucked in fear. As she grew stronger, so too did Veyron. He found himself speaking to her, sharing fragments of memories once buried beneath time. Yet healing was never a simple path. Some nights, Nyx remained haunted by the shadows of her past, trembling in the grip of old nightmares. Veyron would wake to find her whimpering, her breath shallow, as though she relived something only she could see. Determined to help her, he sought guidance from an old mystic known as Elowyn, a woman whose wisdom extended to both man and beast. "She carries wounds that time alone cannot mend," Elowyn told him, her touch light upon Nyx's fur. "But love, patience, and purpose, these will guide her home." So Veyron gave her these things. He built a life of routine and trust, ensuring that Nyx would never know hunger or fear again. And slowly, she transformed, not just into a creature of resilience, but of purpose. Word of her gentle nature spread, and soon she was more than just his companion. She became a source of solace to others. When Veyron visited the orphaned children of the valley, Nyx would press close to them, offering the silent comfort only she could provide. The children, hesitant at first, found reassurance in her quiet presence. As Nyx thrived, so did Veyron. He opened his home to other lost souls. A free-spirited stallion named Rune, a curious fox called Solus, and eventually another beast, proud and watchful, whom he named Cairo. Together, they formed a family, not of blood, but of fate and survival. One evening, as the sky burned in hues of crimson and gold, Nyx stood at the highest peak of the valley, gazing at the world beyond. Veyron stood beside her, understanding the silent message she conveyed. This was not the end, but a beginning. He exhaled, the weight of his past lifting with the evening breeze. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" he mused, running a hand through her thick fur. Nyx did not speak, but she did not have to. She pressed against him, her answer carried in the whisper of the wind. And so, their story was no longer one of loneliness, but of redemption. The forgotten valley, once cloaked in sorrow, now pulsed with life, love, and second chances. Veyron and Nyx walked forward, not as a man and his beast, but as kindred spirits, forever bound by the fate that had rewritten their destinies,